Okay, this is question number 1 on the similar right triangles test that was over sections 9.1 to 9.3. And you had a right triangle in here. I didn't draw the right angle, so I'll just quickly put that in there. And it had a side that's the short leg was x, the long leg was 14, but the long side or the hypotenuse was 17. And they want the value of x. So Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so we'll just go a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that should be pretty easy. Back to 7th grade here somewhere. X squared plus 14 squared equals 17 squared. So x squared equals, well, I'm going to subtract 14 squared from both sides. You can square them first if you want and then do the subtraction, but I'm going to get 17 squared minus 14 squared. How do you undo squaring? You square root. Okay, and you end up getting x equals, let's put that on my calculator, 17 squared minus 14 squared. Whoops, that was a mistake. I just typed something in wrong. That gives me a square root of 93. Okay? Square root of 93. Okay, there's my answer. That was one of the answer choices. There's a square root of 93. If you want that as a decimal, you can just type that in, and that's at a decimal of about 9.6. This is approximately 9.6, but I believe this was the answer choice. Okay, here's question 2. It says a castle guard is standing on the opposite side of an 8-foot moat and wants to reach a window that is 15 feet above the ground. So they told us that this is 15 feet and this is 8. There's some kind of moat there. The guard props a ladder against the wall to form a right angle as shown. So I put the right angle in there. What is the length? That's the length they want of the ladder to the nearest tenth of a foot. So we want to go one decimal place. So let's call this C. So this is A and this is B, and we know the Pythagorean theorem already. So we're going to go a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that means 8 squared plus 15 squared equals c squared. If you actually recognize this is a Pythagorean triple, 8, 15. Oh, the longest side is 17. So c equals 17. Okay, you can also get 64 plus 225 equals c squared, and when you do that you'll get the square root of 289, which is 17. You can do it that way as well, but this was a triple that I remembered, so I was able to do it really fast. Okay, this is question number 3. It says an adventure company wants to run a zip line from the top of one building. So I'll draw a building here. Okay, from the top of one building that is 130 feet tall. So this is 130 feet. Okay, to the top of another building that's only 30 feet tall. So let's just put this here. There's another building and that's 30 feet. Okay, so we want to make a zip line, so I'll draw that in red. So the top to top, like that. Okay, that's the zip line. Okay, let's call it Z for zip line. Okay. The two buildings are 72 feet apart. So from here to here is 72 feet. Estimate the length of the zip line. So we need the zip line there. Well, it turns out I can make a right triangle right here. Okay? Well, and if I do that, this distance can come up to 72 feet. And the question is, how big is this distance right here? That's really what we want to know. Well, if I knew that, I could figure out Z. Well, look over here. I've got 30 feet going from here to here. So let's call this 30 feet right here. But the whole thing is 130 feet. So that must be this part right here. How big is x? X equals the whole distance, 130, minus the 30 feet off the ground. And I didn't draw it very accurately, but it's close enough, and that gives me 100 feet. So this question mark is 100 feet. So if I just draw a cleaner triangle, it's probably more like this. So this is going to be 72, this is 100, and they want z. Okay, so I know z squared equals 72 squared plus 100 squared. So I'm going to pause this and figure this out. So I just figured out what 72 squared plus 100 squared is. Now I'm going to have to square root everything so I can get z. And z will be, I'm just putting that on the calculator, 123.2, and that's feet. So that's, and it said to round it to the nearest tenth, so that's the nearest first decimal. It was 123.22, so that rounds to 123.2 feet. And you'll find that on one of the answer choices. Okay.